We're getting you right into the action here of the 16U championship game here at the CNIT championship. Hashtag game speaks, hashtag CNIT. Jason Tom here alongside Elliot Sabate. A big time matchup here of two big time squads who have had some great weekends.
Yeah, with UPlay, you know, we've kind of guessed that they were going to make it in this far. A loaded roster all the way through. Got some crazy depth on this team, Jason. And Halton, it's just a team really that has played together the entire time. There's no individual standouts, I would say, but the trio of Victor Nasades, Aryan Sharma, and Jalen Mason have been terrific.
Talking to head coach Marko Juricic before this game, talking about his Halton squad. He's had this same crew together for 8 years. There's guys, his soldiers, ready to be the underdog in this matchup against a UPlay. 3-ball no good from Emmanuel Miller. 16-minute halves, stoppage time here in the championship game of the 16U CNIT, the Canadian National Invitational Tournament. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Emmanuel Miller. Can I have another? Sending it back down low, 13 on the shot clock.
And Emmanuel Miller is a kid that, you know, has got onto a lot of NCAA coaches' radar. Oklahoma has been very aggressive with him, and they offered him. That was his first offer, actually. There he is scoring the ball right there, and he's coming off of a gold medal. The only gold medal for Team Canada at the U19 level.
And talking to Abuka Jab before that tournament, I asked him who stood out in that camp. Mentioned 2 players, said RJ Barrett, surprise, surprise, and Emmanuel Miller was the other. Has a lot of respect around the basketball circles. Halton with some nervous energy in the early going here. Shot clock winding down, 3-ball. Front rim and out. Big offensive rebound by Vova Korshakov. He's fouled down low. Foul on Wezapenzo.
And this is an absolutely stacked roster for UPlay. I mean, you can go into the bench, their 7th, 8th, 9th man, and these are all guys that could produce on a lot of the teams that are playing in the CNIT.
Korshakov hits the first. Misses the second. Halton down 1 in the early going here. AJ Lawson to the rim. He really seems to be able to finish through any contact he runs into.
And he's a guy who's going to pick up a few offers here this weekend. Several coaches in the gym. Over 40 coaches over the course of the weekend at the post-secondary level. And many will be tuning in, watching this stream.
Turnover back the other way. UPlay with numbers. Lots of contact, no call. Refs letting him play in the early going here. It's been a great weekend of basketball here at the Haber Recreation Center in Burlington. The mayor of Burlington, Rick Goldring, in attendance here today, showing his support, backing this great basketball tournament that we've had here all weekend long. Packed gym as we have a game going on behind us as well. Later on, we'll also have the 17U championship game coming up after this one, so make sure you stay tuned all afternoon here, live on the live stream. Back the other way, UPlay pushing it. AJ Lawson, nice little pocket pass out of bounds. UPlay is going to get it back.
And I think once Halton realizes they got to get past the big names, so to speak, I think they're going to be all right in this game, because this is a team that's got this far just by moving the ball with some fluid motion and just trusting each other. If they could get past the stardom and the allure of UPlay, I think they'll have a chance in this game.
Tyler Sag checks in for Jaden Bediako. First man off the bench is Sag. Nice look down low. Shiny dime from Emmanuel Miller. Lawson finishing down low to push the lead up to 6-1.
Here's Jalen Mason being guarded by Noah Wharton. Jalen's a kid attending a school in Ohio, Andrew Osborne Academy, who was actually in Toronto during the Toronto Showcase, just looking for more talent.
Calling that on the floor. Lawson, the circus shot off balance there, but it won't count. Lawson inbounding on the baseline. 3-ball, no good from Noah Wharton. Turnover back the other way. Lawson is all over the floor here today. Panzo to the rim. Can't get it to go. He'll go to the line to shoot 2.
I really love the stages of development in Lawson's game. You know, we've known him to be an offensive threat. You've seen enough of him in the NPA season as well. But now he's starting to turn it up on the defensive end. And when you have a player as dynamic as him that's playing on two ends of the floor, that's what I think separates him from the other upper echelon prospects in the class.
And again, this is the 16U championship game. When you're talking about this age group, just the body difference that we're going to see in the next 3-4 years. And you look at AJ Lawson and you wonder what that final product's going to look like physically speaking. You know, he has all the tools so long. And just walking past him in the halls here, such a confidence about him. And as we go along, you know it's only going to grow with this kid.
Yeah, and the experience that he's got this year, you know, being able to attend NBA basketball without borders in the Bahamas, I think that's one of those experiences that kind of transcends your game. And most recently, he's been invited to Adidas Nations, which will have, you know, a ton of NBA scouts in the gym. I've been to that event before. It's a top-notch event where they get training from NBA staff, and then they're scouted by NBA staff while playing against some of the best in the world.
Wharton finds Lawson into the corner. 3, no good. UPlay's missed a couple of wide open shots here in the opening minutes. Wharton again back into the corner, trying it again. No good. Halton not having a lot of luck on their side. Here, another out of bounds off a leg. Lawson inbounding. And
don't let him fool you. Tyler Sagal is a guy that can really knock it down. He was a shooter from the corner. Missed, you know, airballed one was off the mark, but if he gets hot, man, that's what he does. He's a sniper.
That was Miller on the inbounds alley-oop attempt. He's going to be at the line shooting 2, checking into the game. Trey Edwards in for Wharton. Just length on length for this UPlay squad.
Everybody on the floor right now, 6'4 plus. 3 guys on the wing at 6'7". This is, you know, they can really eat up space when everybody's got their hands up on defense. So this could get really nasty here for Halton if they're not playing really well.
And AJ Lawson, that basketball IQ, off the free throw miss there for the putback. And Halton breaks that press, 2-handed slam, crushing it home. Victor Nozadis.
You love to see Victor get aggressive like that, you know, take it to the rim with some authority.
Speaking of authority, Trey Edwards, a soft finish, but took it strong to the hole. Battles back on D to come up with the steal. A victim of his own energy there, stepping out of bounds along the baseline. 11-3 for UPlay here, the championship final of the 16U. At the Canadian National Invitational Tournament. Jason Tom here alongside Elliot Sabate. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. Still have time to get down here to Burlington to catch the end of this game and the 17U championship game that goes a little bit later. We'll also be on the live stream.
Up higher, go, up higher, go. Oh, move the ball, Victor.
Turnover, back the other way. No good, but there is that length. Emmanuel Miller tipping it in. Halton looking for a timeout here. And they got it. 13-3 here in the early going. Stay with us on the live stream. We'll be back after a short break.
Check it out, guys. My name is Dr. J, Dr. Joel Kerr. I am the founder and owner of the Health Institute. I created this business, honestly, for you guys, you basketball players looking to take your game to the next level. I am here to try and help you with that. North Pole Hoops, my partners in business, have brought me on to help with that. We are here to educate you guys and make sure that you're doing the right things off the court so your on game can be the best on the court. So, like I mentioned, the Health Institute is a multidisciplinary clinic where we offer a wide range of services to help you basketball players get stronger, faster, jump higher, all the things you need to do to aspire to get that scholarship, to get that pro contract, whatever it is that you need to do. So I'm going to take a couple minutes just to describe to you some of the things that I've done in the basketball community in the city of Toronto and abroad. The first thing is I want to talk about my education, where I've come from with regards to where I've studied. I've graduated from the University of Toronto with a Bachelor of Physical Education and Health. This is the foundation that I've learned where it has helped me to do the things that I do in my practice. Our motto here at the Health Institute is exercise is medicine. After completing my education at the University of Toronto, I decided to get into chiropractic school. Most people
Back live to the 16U Championship Final here at the Canadian National Invitational Tournament. The 17U Championship between UPlay and Red Rush coming up after this one, but right now we got the 16U UPlay taking on Halton. Halton with just 8 players. The undermanned squad, but coming into this, they knew they had a chance as long as they played together as a team. Facing a 10-point deficit here in the early going. UPlay's athleticism and length just a little too much.
And you said it, as a team, if they're going to have any chance in this game, or if they're going to even keep it close, it's got to be in that fashion. Right now, what we've seen from UPlay is a full court press after every made possession. And Halton has tried to dribble through it, but that's got to change up very quickly. They got to be patient here and use the full 8 seconds to get it across.
Trey Edwards living up to his name with a tray from the corner, pushing that lead to 13. AJ Lawson erasing it at the rim. Lawson with that length and quickness. I mean, every time you take it towards that kid, you got to be thinking twice.
Here's Trey back at the line. He's a guy that, ultimately I don't know what position I see him as, but he has a lot of guard skills that can kind of transfer to the wing as well, play some small forward. But I mean, whether at the 1, 2, or the 3, Trey's an important piece to this team.
Noah Wharton and Jaden Campbell check back in. Lawson now on the bench, getting a breather with his team up 14. It's that suffocating defense right now. Halton's got to figure out. That'll work. Taking it to the hole. Aryan Sharma there with the finish, but just pretty going back the other way. Emmanuel Miller really seems to be doing it with ease out there.
And E-Man is a guy, man, he's come a long, long way. He used to play power forward when he was at Bill Crothers. And this is breaking news. Nobody's heard it yet. I'm going to break it right now. He's actually headed to a powerhouse in the States, La Lumiere, a Nike school that has been recruiting him for some time. So you'll see him at Dick's Nationals and at other major events in the U.S. And I think ultimately we got him as a top 10 guy in the class, in the Canadian class for MPH. I think he's got a shot at scratching that top 50 for 2018. Or sorry, 2019.
Emmanuel Miller, a name to watch out for as we continue along, as this rise of Canadian basketball continues into the next stratosphere. These kids able to stay at home a little longer. Some still going south of the border to further their careers, but it's not needed all the time. Rayvon Young there with the basket, cutting the lead to 13.
And we got a lot of kids that are actually coming back now. They're choosing a Canadian option for prep because they're seeing the level of exposure that's being delivered, and not to be boastful or anything, but we got these guys' backs. That's the existence of North Pole Hoops, is to be able to provide those opportunities, and this is one of them. You know, this is the only NCAA certified tournament in all of Canada. That speaks to how young the culture is out here, from an exposure standpoint, from a infrastructure standpoint. I remember I was in, just a couple weeks ago, we were in Atlanta and South Carolina, and between those two states, there was 7 events, 7 NCAA certified events. Not to mention Texas, not to mention Chicago, not to mention all the other areas of the states that had these events. In Canada, again, CNIT, the Canadian National Invitational, is the only NCAA certified team. Tourney.
Timeout here on the floor. AJ Lawson checking back in here for UPlay. This UPlay squad. Talked about 16U when I was going back through the rosters. Couldn't believe that so many of these namers, that's the age group that they still slot themselves into. And doing the NPA season as we go along, you get so used to these guys, and you seem to kind of add years onto their age that you know that they shouldn't be doing, because you see the skill level extending. You see a skill level that you would expect to see from 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds at this age, just the age of 16. AJ Lawson, one of those guys, back on the floor now for UPlay. A 13-point lead for the crew out of Ancaster, Ontario, taking on Halton basketball. A loose ball foul on UPlay, going back the other way. Halton trying to string a couple of baskets here together. The offense has had trouble. This full court press been giving them fits so far.
And there was an open man on the press. They missed Victor Nasadis on that one.
Working the rock, Luka Mircetic. Kick out corner, no good. Lawson again with that length, gets his hands and fingers on everything.
And Victor Nasadis has been a little bit hesitant today from the three-point line. He's used the jab step and the pump fake very well, but they're giving him an opportunity to let it fly, and he's got to do that.
Mircetic has it. Is stolen by Weza Panzo. Wharton working that rock. Gets tripped up. Rayvon Young called for the foul.
Wharton's a super crafty PG playing at Ridley. It's a private school program. And he's a high academic kid as well, Ivy League type of grades. I know there's some interest, a little bit of interest from Princeton, but I think a lot of the other Ivy League programs and high academic institutions are going to really creep up his way.
Halton in foul trouble here. 8 minutes left in our stoppage time in the first half. Splits a pair on the one-on-one, does Morton. Lawson picking him up at half. Young hands it off.
Oh my God, Victor!
Jump ball called. Victor Nozadis could not hold on to the rock.
And the coaching staff for Halton frustrated on that possession there. The dribble was unnecessary. These guys, I don't think Halton has a supreme ball handler that can really, hang on to it and create off the dribble. So they're going to really just have to rely on ball movement, rely off of momentum and opening up gaps in the defense.
What makes that so difficult is the length on this UPlay squad. You're relying on ball movement, not an awful lot of holes out there. Wharton again getting his hand into the passing lane in transition. Down low, a big man, Austin Burchat. Nice little baby hook, pushing the lead up to 16. Ooh, working the rock there. Rayvon Young.
He almost dropped AJ Lawson on that one.
3 ball. No good. And UPlay pushing off every make, every miss. Wharton no good. Going back the other way.
Look what you're seeing down there from UPlay. You got 4 white jerseys in the paint going after rebounds. And you mentioned it time and time again on this stream already. They already have crazy length. So Halton's got to get their bodies in there and find somebody and put their backside on them.
In transition, easy 2. Jaden Campbell finishing that off. Pushing the lead back up to 18. Halton, though, with numbers back the other way. The bench asking them to shoot it. Burchat getting called for the foul in the lane. Saying he was passing it, won't be going to the line to shoot 2. Halton has not been able to get the offense rolling yet in this game.
Switch with over. On the other side.
Tyler Sag, Jaden Bediako check in. Nice little crossover and finish from Reniel Jameson. That was pretty.
We're looking at a future engineer there. High academic IB level student looking at Waterloo, one of the top engineering programs in the country.
Tyler Sag making it rain with that high arcing three-pointer. Cashing it in to push the lead up to 19. Halton still stuck in single digits. Kick back out. No good from Juricic. Halton's going to keep the rock here. 5:53 here to go at the 16U championship game here at the CNIT. Another turnover. Sag, ooh, trying to catch a body. Couldn't throw it down. Halton coming up with the rock. Foul called. Fans here just kind of waiting for the jump off. Some collective breaths held right there.
And that's an element of his game that he's really depended on, and we got some fans that are going pretty nuts right now.
Been a long weekend of basketball here at the Haber Recreation Center. Wide open in transition. Rayvon Young. Halton can use a couple more of those on the breakout. Got lost. Wharton running off the massive Bediako screen. Wing three ball. You can count Jaden Campbell from downtown Burlington. A 20-point lead here for UPlay. About 5:10 left here in the first half.
And these guys really got to stop the bleeding here before, halftime is up, or before the half starts. There's nothing really able to drop for Halton. Got to be looking to attack the basket.
Wharton coming up with the loose ball. Finds Bediako, the big man, finishing with the left-handed layup. And he's getting back on D, covering lots of ground. Bediako coming up with that off the block from Panzo. And Panzo gets it back. Behind the back dish, three ball no good. Bediako battling on the glass, the big man coming out with it. We always talk about finished product. I cannot wait to see what Jaden Bediako looks like by the time it's all said and done in his high school career.
Yeah, and I don't know who's gotten in his ear lately, but some of the things that Jaden Bediako is doing, man, like the level of the desire I find he's been playing with lately has raised over the past 4 months. I got to watch him a lot with UPlay on the Nike EYBL circuit, the highest level of AAU basketball that there is. And I feel like that level of competition has demanded a lot out of him. And naturally, just starting to see him evolve as well.
A great young man with his size. Obviously, forget about how young he is and what maturity is going to do for him as it goes along. But, one thing with a guy that size, he can never look at the officials for a call because he's never going to get it. It's that the Shaq curse. Nice putback from Bediako. Shaq just got murdered throughout his career and went to the free throw line a lot, but probably could have went there twice as much. And for these young kids at the same size, it's the same sort of thing. They can't look at the officials. They're just not going to get the call because they're that much bigger than their entire competition.
That's right. And I think he's done a pretty solid job in containing himself and, not worrying about that stuff.
You have to wonder what that would be like, though, at the age of 16, still learning the game, still learning your own body, and getting out on the floor and just getting absolutely mauled every time you get the ball. A 24-point lead here for UPlay, vying for that 16U championship title. Pull up three, you can count it. Trey Edwards from downtown. Got a wet spot on the floor here, needs to be cleaned up. Campbell with so much confidence just stepped into that one once he saw the defense sag off of him.
And he's quite capable of knocking it down from all over the floor. And when he gets in the lane, that's when he's most dangerous, because he can score in there. He can get the defense to collapse and kick. He's a weapon at all times.
Fun to watch this UPlay squad and the different combinations they can put out on the floor. We saw earlier where you mentioned everyone's 6'4" and taller. Now I guess you want to call this their big lineup. If the 6'4" and taller wasn't their big lineup, you have Bediako out there, and I mean, Sag has some size on him. Seemed to really come down with every rebound. Campbell, that is some smart basketball. Waiting for the defense to fly past him. Pushing that lead up to 29. Ooh, big swat, sending it away. Emmanuel Miller in transition with flair and precision. Edwards getting it done inside and out here at the CNIT. Ooh, crossover into the lane. That's pretty Jalen Mason.
Jalen Mason just cutting away at the lead here. He's pretty much been the only one who's been able to get to the basket. I think they should look to clear his side and help him go one-on-one.
Halton not backing down. They're pushing every chance they get. Bediako gets back, coming up with a loose ball. Love to see your big man hustle like that. Back the other way. Lots of contact. Can't get it to go, but going to line to shoot two will be Edwards, who's really had a solid 3 minutes here everywhere on the floor.
Transition basketball for these guys, that's where they'll kill you, because everyone can run and gun, everyone can finish at the rim. And you know what? Tyler Sagal on the floor right now is a weapon because he keeps him second guessing. These guys are actually familiar with Tyler Sagal, even his opponents, because it's Halton team, and he plays in this region actually at St. Thomas Aquinas, so they're very familiar with who he is.
No good from the line. Halton comes down with the rebound, control it, nice look. Great pass from Jalen Mason for an easy deuce.
And in transition, that is way too easy. That is way too easy. Halton's got to play better defense than that, whether it's through help or whether it's in the man-to-man.
Mason with Lawson trying to lock him down, running off the screen. Mason pull up three. Rimming out. And here we are, A.J. Lawson, the judge, jury, and executioner. A.J. Lawson laying down the law with a one-handed slam, pushing that lead to 31. .4 here to go in the first half. UPlay trying to step on the collective necks of Halton here in the first half in this 16U championship game.
And I think the game has been decided as a whole, 46-15 here right before the half. But, you know, many may be wondering, how did Halton make it this far? Well, they had to go through Red Rush and several other quality programs. I thought that's what the matchup was going to be. I thought Red Rush would have got into this game, but now with Halton here, they got to stick with the things that are working for them, and that's been Jalen Mason on the attack. This is where they're getting beat here in transition.
Just blowing past everyone is Emmanuel Miller. I mean, I was an Emmanuel Miller fan coming into this game, but watching him here today, not playing up any age groups, you really just see how dominant of a player this guy could be on both ends.
Well ahead of the class, and you know, the top 10 guys in the 2019 Canadian class in North Pole Hoops' rankings, they're guys who are getting recruited at the very highest of levels already.
46-15 for UPlay in this 16U championship game at the Canadian National Invitational Tournament. Jason Tom alongside Elias Sabate. We will be back with second half action after halftime.
Let's keep it going. Keep the intensity high.
Get your feet square. Get your feet square.
Take it home, write it down, grab a homie, and work on it. Work on it, master it.
AJ Lawson, go! He gets it to go! Wow. Pick it up, Jalen.
Oh my God!
Top 10, top 10.
Two-way players are the best players. Understand that. Two-way players are the best players.
Here's Sabri Phillip, two-hand jam!
Let's go, boy!
It doesn't matter from what city you're from, how tall you are, what school, what club you represent. Game speaks. There's no politics here.
We've traveled across the country and back. 6 years running. Canada's basketball talent blossoms right before our eyes. From coast to coast. It's our job to bring it to the light. No gimmicks, just hard work on the hardwood. Who will step up to the plate this summer? Who will make their game undeniable and challenge every man in front of him? Game will speak.
NPH National Showcase Circuit. From the grassroots level to the pros, a system has been developed through the National Showcase Circuit. North Pole Hoops hosts 3-day camps in Canada's major basketball markets that focus on exposure, skill development, and character development. Top performers go on to receive athletic scholarships in Canada and the United States. There are currently over 200 Canadian men and women playing at the NCAA Division I level. Canada's next top talents are identified at NPH's National Showcase Circuit. NPH National Showcase Circuit. From the grassroots level to the pros, a system has been developed through the National Showcase Circuit. North Pole Hoops hosts 3-day camps in Canada's major basketball markets that focus on exposure, skill development, and character development. Top performers go on to receive athletic scholarships in Canada and the United States. There are currently over...
The second half just underway. 16-minute stoppage time in the second half. Weza Panzo with a gift of a 2 there in the lane. Mason. Up top, Jamison. Back to Mason. These two are really the ones that have been able to get anything going on the offensive end. I mean, when you're talking about facing a 30-plus point deficit, you're just trying to get some positivity going, and maybe we'll see it there out of Mason.
I think he's been the bright spot here in this game, showing that he's not backing down. He's been really aggressive offensively, and that's what it's going to take. Here he is again. Decides to slow it down this time. Good job at doing that.
Had a wide open Sharma down low, but the pass goes off the backboard. I don't mean to be a broken record, but we talk about the physical attributes of AJ Lawson, but the basketball IQ is just so strong.
Yeah, he knows where everybody is on the floor, including his opponents, and you saw on that last play, you know, it was going out of bounds, and he was able to recover and blow it off of one of the offense's legs.
And that was Lawson there cleaning up the mess. Continuing to have his fingerprints all over this game. Mason really battling down there amongst the trees, giving up some height and some strength, but not backing down. No good. Lawson pushing Doesn't matter if he has numbers because he's going to take it himself. Euro stepping for 2.
And the speed that this kid is playing with right now is just terrific. I mean, he's getting up the court in three or four dribbles maximum. And he's going coast to coast, switching direction. The level of difficulty of some of the things that Lawson's been doing lately.
So, I mean, every scout that's shown up here this weekend has to have A.J. Lawson at the top of their list.
Well, yeah, but yes, but there are different levels at the NCAA level. So, for example, a Canisius or a Niagara would not necessarily recruit a player like A.J. Lawson, whereas an SMU, a Tulane, Oregon, who has already offered him, those are the type of levels that I think, you know, are more suitable.
Lawson took part in the NPA circuit this past year, playing for GTA Prep. His head coach for that team in attendance here today. His teammate from GTA Prep, Jaden Campbell, also on this squad. Panzo pulls down the board, finds Lawson. Nice look, A.J. Lawson. The follow-up is no good because that's an over-the-back foul. He can wipe out the hoop. You know, Lawson, not a selfish player either. Could have easily kept that himself as he continues to slice and dice through the D, but passed it up to his teammate there. And there's Lawson with the steal. Jalen Mason knocking around Lawson, making sure it wasn't an easy 2. Mason really gutting it out here. Had to been thinking that he might have ended up on a poster there, but instead got over. Make the smart play to send Lawson to the line to shoot 2. Lawson cashes them both. Halton having trouble getting it inside and out once again. UPlay just ball hawking out there.
And there's active hands and a lot of length. You got to use your fakes. You got to get the defense to...
A.J. Lawson, the one-handed hammer. It's been the A.J. Lawson show here at the 16U championship game. Panzo with the steal. A.J. Lawson spiking it home, pushing the lead up to 43. Yes. Lawson is something to watch. And again, another steal. Timeout on the floor being called by Marko Juricic. Stay with us. We'll be back with the live stream of the 16U championship game at the CNIT.
We're about to jump into the deepest talent pool that we've ever had. In most recent history, we've seen guys like Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Christian David, Abu Kigab, Jalen Warren, all have phenomenal showcases, which led to an increase in their exposure and an increase in their recruitment. That is by nature what North Pole Hoops provides at these camps. But I want to put it into perspective on just how much exposure you can get in 3 days at camp. A report goes out to over 100 NCAA coaches, CIS, JUCO, CCAA, and most recently we're being contacted more by NBA personnel. Then there's 100,000 in viewership on NorthPoleHoops.com. Then there's the live stream that goes on. bang for the buck, there is no other camp that I've seen in North America that provides this much exposure. My job as a national scout is to identify the prospects at camp and make sure that we track their progress throughout the high school season, the club, and AAU season. From there, we build a profile for them online through our database and make sure that these kids are getting ranked and seen by coaches who are subscribed to our service. The NPH Showcase coaching staff are absolutely a vital part of this camp. You know, we got All-Americans, All-Canadians, guys who have been drafted to the NBA, people like Kyle Julius, who's currently coaching.
We're back live at the Haber Recreation Center here in Burlington, Ontario. Thank you for joining us here. Jason Tom alongside Elliot Sabate. It's been an amazing weekend of basketball. Tons of college coaches from U Sports, from the NCAA. Been in attendance all weekend long. We have the 17U championship final coming up after this one, and that will be the UPlay once again taking on Red Rush out of Quebec. I cannot wait to see that team. I was taking them in the semifinal. You want to talk about defense, intensity, guys with something to prove. That's that Red Rush squad.
And that's definitely going to be the game to watch. You know, it's interesting because Tyrese Samuel, who is a top prospect in the 2018 or 2019 class, whatever he decides to go. Oh, tried the alley-oop that time. I don't know if I'd be trying risky stuff like that at this point, but hey, it went.
If you're not going to get the dub, try to hit the highlight reel. Austin Burchat kind of getting everything he wants down there. Halton with some subs coming on. I don't think they like what they're seeing with their compete level underneath the glass. Juricic downtown. That was money coming off the wrist. Trying to give the Halton fans here in attendance something to cheer about. Even when they had numbers, almost lost the rebound. Coaches over here shaking their heads trying to find an answer. Juricic drive and dish. There's a little bit of the ball movement we were looking at, but can't finish. Sharma. Panzo working the rock. Nice behind the back dribble and finish. Jaden Campbell off glass for two.
And what we've seen from this team, how far they've come along together over the course of this summer, this UPlay squad has been terrific. The top 16 U program in the nation right now.
That's the ball movement Halton needed in the early going. Leading to a wide open three. Panzo asking for a post up, and that's a travel. Mercitich and Mason checking back in with only 9:54 here to go. Time's running now because of the extended lead that's been put on the board here by UPlay. Young back up top to Mason. Mircetich into the corner. Young front rim and out in transition. Sagal up top. Campbell couldn't finish it. UPlay is going to get the rock back.
And now UPlay is in a situation where they can afford to do that kind of stuff. They're just having fun out there at this point. I just want to see, I guess from an evaluative standpoint, this is a good time to see just how much fight the Halton guys have in them. Next level guys, you know, whether they're up 20, down 20, or in this case, down almost 40, they play with a certain sense of urgency. And it determines a lot at the next level. It determines just how bad you want it, how much of a competitor you actually are.
There's Bediako getting out to close out the three-point line. Active big man. You like to see that. Bediako, I mean, just turned 16, or is he still 15 at this point?
No, he just turned 16. He's got a lot of growing to do still. And, you know, he's taking care of his body. He's trimmed down a little bit, a lot of the baby fat.
Look out. Back the other way with the spike. Jaden Campbell just stunting on them at this point.
And this is starting to look like a drill rather than an actual championship game here.
Once again, off the turnover, Sagal is going to throw it up top. Instead, waits for the trailer, and then he finds himself open. Step back three, Sagal, no good. Bediako, one-handed board. We call it over the back. Those long arms of Jaden Bediako. Sagal almost coming up with another steal. Quick trigger three. Jalen Mason cashes it in. Campbell working the rock.
Watch the hook, watch the hook.
Off the Bediako screen. Bediako fouled down low. He'll go to the line to shoot two. For every big man, always important getting the work done at the line, because you know you're going to end up there an awful lot. Bediako misses them both. I know it's a blowout, but you need to keep your concentration when it comes to the line there. Bediako with the steal. Sagal up top. Jaden Campbell, two-handed slam. Sorry, that was Trey Edwards with the two-handed slam. Halton really battling themselves right now. Trying to keep themselves mentally focused here with 5:24 to go. Bediako. High-low feed, ooh. Nice pass back, but he couldn't handle it. And Bediako battling and finishing. Looking for the foul call, didn't get it. His final 5 minutes, they're going to keep Bediako out there. I'd like to see what he can do with that skill set of his, continuing to fine-tune it, extend it. Bediako bit hard on that three-point head and shoulder fake. Sharma finishing down low.
Come on, Victor. Push, push, push.
And here we go. Halton off the steal. That was Roko Juricic. The easy two. Sagal from way downtown. You can count it. UPlay now. Just running out the clock with the CNIT 16U championship. Just waiting for him after this game. Sagal throwing it down, getting the bench on their feet. UPlay running away with this championship game.
And Sagal now being recruited by Butler. I had a good chat with them and they were very pleased with what they saw from him just from a shooting standpoint, but then quickly started to learn that he's much more than just a shooter. That element, as I mentioned earlier, of adding the explosiveness in the first step, being able to finish above the rim, that's what takes him to another level. And you know, he's going to have those mid and high minus types of looks. And you know, just to give some reference here, the high major conferences. We're talking Pac-12, Big Ten, Big East, those type of places, which I think he is capable of playing at. When you got a rocket launcher like that, I think you could play at pretty much any level.
It goes a lot to say with playing with highly skilled players as well. He's only going to accelerate his growth as a player. And there he is again. Finishes with the left-handed spike previous, now with the righty. Putting it all on display here is Tyler Sagal. And the steal. Finishing with both hands is Sagal. Hopefully that's just a Charlie horse there along the baseline. Stay with us here on the live stream. We have the 17U Championship Final coming up at the conclusion of this game. We'll be back after a short break. We'll update you on Sagal.
It doesn't matter where you're from or what background you are, how small you might be. What matters is heart, will, and effort. Prove to yourself you belong. If you can ball, the time is now. Exposure starts here.
Everyone has their story. What's yours? Were you born with the ball in your hands? Or were you a late bloomer? Are you a dead-eye shooter? Or a high flyer?
Throws up an alley-oop! All elbow! Williams!
Are you a leader? Or an elite role player? North Pole Hoops wants to know, what's your story?
The core, the six-pack, the elusive grouping of muscles that every single client is trying to achieve by running, jumping, or doing a million sit-ups. But will those million sit-ups really get you the 6 grouping of muscles that sit on the front of your body? With this video, we really want to show you that it doesn't happen that way. You got to make sure that you're doing the right exercises, and more importantly, you got to make sure that your diet is clean. That's the only way that you're going to have that six-pack. Take a look at this video and you'll see which ones you should do and which ones you should stay away from.
Tyler Sagal was helped off the floor, right leg injury. Hopefully nothing too serious. 2:10 to go here. UPlay having no trouble in this 16U championship game against Halton. Pull-up jumper, Rayvon Young cashing it in. 1:40 to go here as UPlay is marching on to the championship of this tournament. A reminder, after this game, we'll have the 17U championship game between Red Rush and UPlay. That's going to be an outstanding matchup. Make sure you tune in for that one. Keep it locked here on the live stream. UPlay just running out the clock, shooting when necessary due to the shot clock. A wing three, no good. Got numbers the other way. Campbell with an easy two. 40 seconds to go here. Another steal. UPlay's defense has been outstanding here this afternoon. UPlay showing their good sportsmanship here. Not going to run up the score any more than it has to. As UPlay out of Ancaster, Ontario, are your 16U CNIT championship winners here this afternoon at the Haber Recreation Center. 81-34 is your final over, Halton. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you keep the live stream up on your computer or whatever device you're watching on. The 17U championship is coming your way, and everybody's moving over to the championship floor to watch that one. Stay with us. Quebec, Ontario, coming up next at the 17U championship at the CNIT.